All right. It is 7:14 on Tuesday, April 6th, 2021. And I'll call the Newcastle Selectmen's meeting to order. Um, I have one amendment to the agenda, which is a little bit of a sad note. On Monday, April 5th, Clayton Huntley, our fire chief and a dear resident of the town of Newcastle, passed away, and leaves behind a big empty place in the town. So with that said, move on to 4.1, which is the River Road Fire Station naming. And prior to Clayton's passing, it's been in the works for a while. The town and all the members of the Taniscott Fire Station have been working together to dedicate the firehouse to Clayton. And John just said a few minutes ago that Clayton did know before he passed that the station was dedicated to him. This isn't the dedication that we were all looking for and hoping for, but anyway, we'll move on with the proclamation, and I'll just read the proclamation, and we'll go from there. Proclamation is whereas Clayton V. Huntley Jr. served as Newcastle Fire Chief for 30 years of dedicated service, and whereas Clayton V. Huntley Jr. was a highly respected member of the Newcastle Fire Department since 1971, a total of 50 years of exemplary service and dedication to the town of Newcastle and its citizens. Whereas Clayton Huntley Jr. worked diligently as Newcastle's first full-time fire chief to professionalize the fire service and lead a highly trained and dedicated group of volunteer firefighters, including the inclusion of the department into the SHAPE program for municipal entities which maintain immaculate workplace safety procedures. And whereas Clayton V. Huntley Jr. secured hundreds of thousands of dollars in grant awards and charitable contributions to support fire protection in Newcastle, thereby reducing the amount required from taxpayers for those goals. And whereas Clayton V. Huntley Jr. has been actively involved in the Lincoln County Fire Chiefs Association and trained hundreds of volunteer firefighters throughout Midcoast, Maine for decades. And whereas Clayton V. Huntley Jr. passed away today, April 4th, 2021, after a courageous battle with a long-term illness. Now, therefore, we, the Board of Selectmen of the town of Newcastle, Maine, in conjunction with the Taniscott Engine Company, do hereby designate the fire station building at 86 River Road as Clayton V. Huntley Jr. Station. And do further hereby encourage our residents, staff, business leaders, and neighboring Lincoln County neighbors to express their gratitude to Chief Huntley's wife, Margot, and sons David and Matthew for Clayton's dedicated and loyal service to the greater central Lincoln County community. I would say that's a lot of words. It's probably not enough to sum up what Clayton has done for the town and how many people he's touched and yeah, just what he's given. So with that wonderful proclamation, do I have a motion to accept it? Rob?
I'll move.
Yeah.
We have a second. Tor?
I'll second it, yeah.
All in favor of dedicating the fire station 86 River Road to Clayton V. Huntley Jr.? That passes 4-0.
I don't have enough hands to raise.
Yeah. The small token of what we can say.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna miss going in the fire station and talking with Clayton and having him show me around and have him explain everything to me. And and just getting the stories. I came to my first stint in Newcastle was at the Riverside Boatyard where my dad worked, and at that time Paul Bryant was the chief, and Clayton was always down there helping out, talking to Paul. And I was just a little kid, but I remember Clayton from way back then. And a lot of times when, times got tough in town, we would just sort of reminisce over the stories that we had. And that was, Riverside Boatyard and Paul Bryant. And, that time was something that, even though we were many years apart, could both relate to and talk about. And I'm gonna miss having someone to talk to about those things. So it's it's definitely going to be a change and a hard time for a lot of people. So our support goes out to all his friends and family. So
Well said.
Yeah.
I would maybe just say on behalf of the staff and everyone works for the town. Clayton's the fire chief, and I think as residents, everyone had a chance. Sometimes at their worst, there's a fire or there's an accident or and he was there, and that's for residents. That was so much. He was always there for you. There's a fire with his chimney fire at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's 20 below out, and the snow is going sideways. Clayton's there, and so for 50 years, Clayton's been there, and that you talked about the void. That's void. It's like a black hole. It's like the void is so much. It sucks everything else around it. It's hard to even believe that there is somebody else who's that person won't be around to do that. And yet the lessons and the legacy that he's left with that fire department, through this illness that he's had, and fighting it like nobody fights it. Cause if Clayton, he's a fighter, and he's not, this was not a good battle. He gave it all he could. And, but what he did was he created a department there that even when he was not able to be Clayton, and every call and able to do every meeting, that department ran like a top. And that's a credit to the officers, the longtime members of the department, the lifelong members of the department, everybody picking up, not only because they appreciate Clayton and the person that he was, but also because Clayton did such a great job leading that department, put everyone in positions to be able to take off and run with it if he wasn't there. And I think that's the greatest testament to me of all, is that he did things in a volunteer setting. As a full-time person, he took a volunteer department and made it able to run amazingly, even though he wasn't able to do all that he normally did. I think for most people, they wouldn't have known over the last year all the challenges that he and the department were going through. But credit to all of those guys to fill that void, but really as a testament to Clayton to be able to do that. And, that's truly remarkable and really a great test to his leadership, and what a great fire chief he was. Secondly, I'd say the guy. I'm going to miss the guy who came in and would completely, take me off script, and we'd be talking for 2 hours about the Red Sox and Tom Brady and all that stuff, but also talking about the history and things that had nothing to do with history of Newcastle, but just history in general. I'm going to miss the guy, because we had some great chats, and like you said, Joel, I mean, I'm a few years his junior, but I think the same thing that you saw and I saw, you bond over the same things, but the great thing, I think, why Clayton was so successful too, is that he saw what their motivations were, what they wanted, and anybody who goes into the fire service has a level of selflessness that is beyond compare, and so he's the guy that's got to judge that. And I think that's the thing, is like, those who really want to, who believe in public service and giving back to your community. And I think that's why he got along so much with the boards, at least the time I've been here, because we've had groups of folks, you guys and the folks before, Chris and Carolyn and Ben and Brian. Those are the selectmen who've been here since I've been here. Of course, the four of you guys. Everyone had in their hearts, we're trying to do the right thing. They're trying to make it better for Newcastle tomorrow than it is today, and than it was yesterday. And Clayton loved yesterday. He loved yesterday. Loved talking about the history, but he really appreciated everybody who's trying to make it better tomorrow. For whatever your stripe or color or whatever it is, he really appreciated those who are trying to make it better and trying to pick up the hose and run with it. That's what I'm gonna miss. I'm gonna miss one more guy who's trying to make it better, and he did a lot to make it better. But there's big shoes to fill for not just in the fire department, not just in the chief's position, but in the town of Newcastle, in Lincoln County. The void that he's left is immense. And the four of you guys, me, the firefighters, citizens in town, he's left us the instructions, and just like the fire department, we got to pick it up and try to make it look like it's never been better. And I think that's the best testament we can give to Clayton and his time here.
Thanks, John. It was nice.
Oof.
Not easy.
Not easy.
No.
But,
He was one of the good ones for sure.
but again, I think like you said, it's more than just the station that's named after him. People who join that department 10, 15, 20 years from now, who never got a chance to meet him, will know him in a way because of what he's done to set that place up. So we're fortunate. It's nice. So anyway, and we'll keep everyone posted on anything that's coming up to memorialize Clayton in the future, and this will be a continuing thing for a while. So anyway, on that note, moving on, we do have a brief executive session that we need to go into. So do I have a motion to go into executive session? Okay, Wanda, seconded by Rob, and that's under MSR 1 MSRA section 4056A, personnel.
Did you vote?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, to vote.
Second vote. Yeah. Motion second.
No,
That's all right.